Begin.
I'm Susan McMaster, and I'm reading as part of the Maitland Festival of 2012 at Anthony's Church.
St. George's on the Hill.
St. George's on the Hill. Thank you all for coming today. I'll read first from Desperately Seeking Susans, which is a new anthology that's just come out, and my name is Susan. So I'm one of the people who is in this book. But the very first poem I'll read is actually by a poet named Lorna Crozier. Have you heard of Lorna at all? She's a GG Award winner and a very good poet. And her name is Lorna, but she was desperate to get into this book. So she wrote this poem. Susan. She loved the name so much, that's what she called her male bulldog, her rubber boots, her yellow bike. She even named her toothbrush. So every day, Susan would be the first thing and the last her mouth would know. Lorna Crozier.
Nice.
This is put out by a woman named Sarah Tsang, a very talented young poet herself. And there are a number of people from the Maritimes and from Nova Scotia in the book. I'll read a couple by them. I guess I'll read one by myself first. For some reason, Sarah chose from my work all old woman poems. So this is a kind of a sexy old woman poem. It's an old woman remembering, and it's called Lately She Remembers. Her palms are hungry. Oh, other parts too, but in the night, now he's gone, and even the cat finds elsewhere to sleep. It is her palms that ache for the feel of his shoulder, right there in the center of her hand, where the bones come together, flesh sparks at the touch. The heart, she calls it to herself, much more real to her than the erratic muscle that lodges over her stomach, stutters when she climbs the stairs too fast, burns and knocks, a complaining rumor always ready to whine. In the rain-patterned night, she rubs palms against the sheet, his hip, his shoulder, as she rolls onto her side, as she smooths her hand down a muscled arm, slips it over her chest, circles, presses, till the nipple hardens, tucks knees against thighs, soft fur rubbing as she strokes further down, strokes the curl of hair under the slow ribs, down the feathered belly, cups a soft rise. In the flat, empty bed, she covers her mouth, brings a tongue into that crease, cups her heart, licks it dry. Pretty nice, eh? The old lady. Now, Susan Gillis, there was something done on the radio on CBC just the other day, and Susan Gillis, with whom I read, is from Halifax, I believe, and so I'll read something by her. 111 and 120. Try those. I don't know this book inside out yet, but I've enjoyed it very much. It's odd how many Susans are good writers. Susan Musgrave, of course. Susan Gillis, The Marriage Bed. I won't say I didn't watch her leave, boots all the way to her knees, hair to her waist, striding between the tables and the dim-sum carts. In her dark lips and insouciance, she looked like your best friend's daughter. That is, not yours, but anyone's. Your best friend's daughter, and here I do mean yours, has a gravelly voice, albeit musical. The voice of a much older woman that erupts from her as though the woman of the future exists inside her, impatient for knowledge and form. that girl was like that. After she left the washroom, I went in. Later, at home, I thought of her kiss on the tissue on top of the pile in the bin, black almost, under the halogen light. How light deepens the darkness of dark. The twinning rode with me all night. Okay, so that's enough for this one. Yeah, I like Susan Gillis's work. This is a book called Pith and Rye, which was an anthology that I recently edited myself. And I'll read a poem by another Nova Scotia writer, who is Jeanette Lyons. And I kind of I like this one. Let me just find it. Sorry. There it is. 17. We all Nova Scotians seem to dwell on the same topics, but then after all, love and death are the main themes of poetry, aren't they? So Jeanette Lyons, thinking of you during security screening at the Calgary airport. My bra sets off the alarm. Oh, shocking bosom. Love, you'd laugh at the serious official wanding my chest. You know, my criminal holder, limp and harmless as an old basset hound, a sports bra with metal grommets, a cross tab for hanging a pager, I suppose, though I'd hardly know. The only jogging I've done is to your gate. I'm not secure. When I arrive, unhook me. Toss the old dog high across the room. That's it.
That's nice.
I guess we get to imagine the rest of it. Hello, very short poetry reading. Don't feel you have to join us. You're welcome to listen if you want. I'll read you a couple of mine. This is, since you might as well have me in here too. I know where I am. Master, I did put myself in, I think. Yeah. So a lot of us have parents or friends who are going through various kinds of aging. So this is a series of poems. I'll just read a couple to my mother, who has Alzheimer's. I am lost, Mother, in the spaces you leave behind. I cannot even see a shadow there to follow. I have no way to comfort you in the empty room your mind now is. Doors and windows shut, blinds hung, closed. I don't think I have Alzheimer's. My memory is my own, and I'm going to keep it. She takes off her boots, coat still buttoned, turns from the hall into the apartment she left a week before. One final trip to pick up final things. Steps through the arch into the living room. Her hands come together, hold around each other as if against cold. The couch is gone, her lamp, her chair, the floor a mess of movers' tracks. A few more steps, she stops, bends her head into my shoulder. I put my arms around her. Her hands between us close around something no one can hold. Acceptance and loss, holding on to life and what it is. The quotes are from my mother. I read the poems to her. She's still alive. I didn't want to publish anything without her knowing about it. I did ask her over and over, 50 times maybe. Each time she said, yes, go for it. It will help other people. She said, you're a poet, But as I read the poems, that was one I just read, was the first one I read to her. She started to say things. And like, I didn't edit the things she said at all. They were so amazing. That first one, I kind of went, she was silent for a minute or two, and then she said that. So I wrote it down. And by the time I had read her all the poems, she'd said 50 or 60 things. I had as many quotes from her as I had poems. So that's what happened. Well, I said only 10 minutes. I think I'm just about at my 10 minutes. Maybe I could finish with one little poem, which is kind of fun. I have a couple of earlier books here too. How about I finish with something that, just a light-hearted piece that talks about something we all have experience of. I'm going to have to look it up. Right? Oh, where is it? Oh, maybe I
Never
don't.
where you from.
Maybe it's not in this book. All right, then let's do, since we're in a beautiful church, refurbished in a most lovely fashion, how about my poem, How God Sees? How God Sees. Look out from the top of the Gatineau Hills, lean over the stone wall at the parkway's edge, and cover the whole expanse of glittering green in one wide sweep. No, without tracking it, how the river bends, twists through fields that lie like pillows on their limestone bed, how roads stitch between. One glance, it's all there. And then pick a leaf from the ivy on the wall, cup it in your fingers, trace the fine veins, bend closer, see the whole wide valley focus in a green beam along a slender rib, ray out to the rim.
Thank you.
Thank you, unexpected visitors, and this impromptu gathering. Thanks.
That was great.
Bless you.